Hi, Not Board Gamers, and welcome back to Not Board Gaming. I'm your host, I'm Mark. Now, today's video is a little bit different. You see, about 2 weeks ago, I was invited to a press event by Steamforged Games. Now, Steamforged are based in Manchester in the UK, and I live in Sheffield, so it's only about 40 miles for me to get there. So off I trotted on my merry way to go to the press event for Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion. That's right, it's the follow-up to Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, obviously based on the wildly popular franchise. So off I went to this event, and joining me at the event, we've got people like Alex Radcliffe and Professor Meg and Grant Lyon, as well as some cosplayers and people from the video games world, etc. And we were all there to have a look at the upcoming Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion, which launches on Kickstarter on Tuesday the 21st. The link will be in the description below. Now, I put this as a paid preview. I wasn't paid any money for it, but they did buy me lunch. So I put this as a paid preview, and of course it's based off a press event. It's not really an opinion piece from me too much on what I saw there. So what is Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion? Well, about in the last kind of 2 years or so, they delivered Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, obviously again based off the Horizon video games. And, you know, backers got that, and it was met with a little bit of a lukewarm response, to tell you the truth. But however, Steamforged have listened and they've completely revamped the system. So Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion is the sequel to it, but they've absolutely listened to what people said. You see, in the original Horizon Zero Dawn, it was a semi-co-op game, or a semi-co-op game, depending on where in the world you are. And a lot of people weren't too best pleased with that. Don't get me wrong, it's got its fans, it's got its adoring fans, and I've never played Horizon Zero Dawn, so I have nothing to compare Seeds of Rebellion to, but I do know that some of the people that I know who played the game thought that it suffered from being semi-co-op, and that it was, in terms of the turn structure, it was a little bit clunky to go through things. Well, Steamforged have quite frankly and happily listened to everybody, and Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion is now a 1 to 4 player fully co-op game. That's right, it's 1 to 4 players, so you can totally solo it if you wanted to, true solo, and it is fully co-op, and it's a campaign over kind of 13, I think it's 13 episodes that you get in the campaign. Ultimately, very, very replayable. So, as you can see from some of the photographs there were some fantastic cosplayers, obviously, at the event, but they did have the prototypes, and I will stress that these are the prototypes, obviously, because, you know, it only goes to Kickstarter on the 21st of this month. But they got the prototypes with the fantastic miniatures, the map books, and we only had really one scenario that we were all playing. The map books and the new assets for the game, including the cards and the traps and everything that comes with it. And as I sat down to play that again, there was other people had played it before me, and the feedback was good from everybody. I was thinking, okay, right, you know, maybe everything I'd heard about Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, wasn't going to come true for this. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had a really good time playing this game. So what you've got is you've got these kind of 2 map books which create a map. You put them together, that create a map, and they've got tracks on there. And around these tracks, you've got the various kind of creatures that are roaming the land. If you've played the video game, you know you've got these mech creatures roaming the land. And what you've got to do is you've got to try and build up your position on this map before you get noticed by the creatures. And you've got this pretty good kind of alert system. Every action you do kind of raises your token, and you've got a token for the creature that lowers, basically. And when your token and that creature's the creature's token cross, that's when the creature notices you, and it tends to go into combat there. Now, depending on how many people are playing it or how many characters you've got, people's tokens can reach at different times. So if you're working as a group of people, then you can kind of activate it that somebody can do that, and the others can carry some surreptitious work, maybe 1 or 2 moves more surreptitiously, while the noticed character is obviously deciding how to combat. And these creatures, obviously, they follow the set kind of loops, if you like, around the board. And it's a case of looking at what skills each of the asymmetrical characters have got. What cards have you got in there? How can you best try to work out this this kind of puzzle in front of you of the various creatures, and what's the best order to try and defeat them in? Are you going to lay traps? Are you going to go for direct combat? Are you going to hit and hide back in the bushes? Or are you going to go and help your friends? You see, one of the people I played with in my party went down, and instead of attacking the creature, I went and helped them back up instead. And that was a really key move for us as a party, because that meant we were still at full strength and we could complete the scenario. You've got the kind of card system. So you have 5 cards in front of you and get to choose one of these cards of which you're going to play. And cards have various abilities, be they traps, etc. And those are the cards that you're going to play. And they're going to determine your action on the board. And of course, you're all kind of taking actions and looking at everybody's kind of skill sets and what they can do and working together. And I think that's the beauty of moving away from a semi-co-op to a fully co-op, is you can start to get this really nice interplay from the characters as you're kind of flanking, and maybe one lays a trap and the other one is there ready to pounce on one of the creatures, on one of the mechs, or as they're kind of roaming around the map. And once you defeated them, well, certainly in this scenario, that was it. That was scenario done. Now, out of all the people that played it, and quite a few playtesters, quite a few people playing it there, then I do know that some of them didn't quite complete the mission. We managed to all survive just by the skin of our teeth, and defeat the creatures and defeat the mechs. And the whole thing took maybe, including the teach, maybe about an hour for this scenario. Now, as I say, there are 13 scenarios, I believe, and they may do more in terms of expansions, etc. But in the base game, there are 13 scenarios. And there was a lot to like in this. I really, I went into it with kind of slight trepidation based on what I'd heard about Zero Dawn, and I had a really good time. And there is going to be a true solo mode as well, so you can play it with one character. I didn't get to experience that there because it wasn't quite ready. However, I think if I was to play this game on my own, then I would probably take 2 characters, because I don't think managing 2 sets of cards would be that difficult. And of course, you get that wonderful interplay between the various characters and using their abilities and what they can do, and how they can try and best fit the map, best fit the kind of the scenario in front of you. And there is an element of kind of character building throughout this kind of 13 episode campaign as well. So the cards that you start with are not necessarily the cards that you're going to finish with, because you will get to upgrade and start to kind of construct your deck a little bit better, so you get more powerful as you're trying to kind of work out what's happening with these kind of rebellion that is kind of tinkering away underneath the surface and trying to dislodge and dismantle a kind of fragile democracy that's in place at the moment. So, really brief on this. I will say that if you were put off by Horizon Zero Dawn, and certainly from what I'd heard of Horizon Zero Dawn, I went into this with a certain sense of trepidation. Steamforged have listened, and they've changed it. They streamlined the actual structure. They made it fully cooperative. It felt like a really good experience to play, and I'm really interested to actually, at some point potentially playing this more and just really working out, whether the game is for me or not. But based on initial impressions, I had fun with this, and that is a key thing, right? It's not a deep game. You're not talking kind of Frosthaven levels of complexity here. It's an accessible game, and it's a fun game. Now, as I say, everybody that was there, I know it was a press event, but you speak to people independently, etc. And everybody that was there that I spoke to had a really good time with it, including the people from a video game background as well. They grasped it fairly quickly and were able to kind of, link it back to their experience with playing the video game. So I think Steamforged have absolutely kind of hit the nail on the head in creating that Horizon feel in a board game. Of course, it's not sandboxy. It's not like Horizon where you can kind of run up and down hills and across rivers, etc. It is these scenarios in this campaign, and you can replay them as one-shots as well. So, yeah, as I say, it's really early first look at Horizon Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion from Steamforged Games. It hits Kickstarter on Tuesday the 21st of November. The link will be in the description below. Stay away from loads of impressions. I only played one game and one scenario and need to see more of it, but from what I played so far, I had fun playing this game. I thought it was a good game, and therefore that kind of hits the nail on the head for me. I wasn't overwhelmed by anything. We were all laughing and joking together, and I can absolutely see it working as a solo experience, not only as true solo, but if you're capable of managing two hands, as I say, kind of working a way to find out how to make your characters work best. So I hope you've enjoyed the photographs. If you really want to look out for, if this style of game kind of appeals to you, this kind of more adventure type game appeals to you, then I'll say go and check out the Kickstarter when it launches on the 21st. Thank you very much to Steamforged for inviting me over to the event. Great to meet Alex again, and Professor Meg and Grant, all of which I kind of met in Gen Con earlier this year. But I had a really good time, and it's great to see that people from, not just from board gaming, but from the computer games industry, or from miniature painters, or from cosplayers, all had fun playing this. So do check out the Kickstarter. If it looks like it appeals to you, I can promise you it's not Zero Dawn. It's they've listened, taken on all the feedback, and adjusted and made the game, by all intents and purposes, from people that have played it, far better experience than Zero Dawn. So really quick kind of, as I say, first impressions on Horizon Forbidden West, Seeds of Rebellion. Check out the Kickstarter. The link's in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out our other videos. And one final thought. If you can't find anyone else to play with, then there's nothing wrong with playing with yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye.